In 1831, Eugène Delacroix exhibited his extraordinary painting of the 1830 Revolution. July 28th, Liberty Leading the People. His representation of the first major uprising in Europe since 1789 has now become an iconic image of revolution. Indeed, it is often mistaken for an image of its more famous predecessor. This is understandable, as the painting, in some respects, showed the 1830 revolution, which toppled the restored post-Napoleonic Bourbon monarchy, as a reprise of 1789. The bare-breasted female figure of Liberty, wearing a Phrygian cap and holding a tricolore and a bayonet, is a semi-allegorical figure, echoing the classical heroes of the late 18th century. The painting was also designed to show the alliance of bourgeois and the poor that had existed in 1789. Liberty leads a rag-bag of revolutionaries, from the top-hatted young bourgeois intellectual to the bare-chested workman and a street child, clambering over the dead bodies of the revolutionary martyrs. However, the painting also showed how views of revolution had changed since David's day. The workers and the poor figure more prominently than the bourgeois, and unsurprisingly, given the prevalent fear of the poor, hostile critics complained that lawyers, doctors, and merchants had been omitted in favor of urchins and workers. Moreover, the figure of Liberty was not entirely allegorical, but clearly a woman of the people. The Journal des Artistes found her dirty, ugly, and ignoble. In 1832, the painting was hidden from view for many years, for fear that it would incite disorder, only to re-emerge from the attics during the revolutions of 1848. For Delacroix, at the heart of revolution were not the bourgeoisie in togas, but the workers in rags. Delacroix's painting strikingly illustrates how far the imagination of revolution had moved from David's ordered and hieratic tableau. Delacroix's Liberty may have included the odd classical feature, but his canvas exulted in its high romanticism. There is a wildness and an elemental energy to the figures, far removed from David's classical restraint. However, Delacroix also inserted into his revolutionary ensemble a uniformed student from the École Polytechnique, the institution established by Carnot, Robespierre's techno-Jacobin rival. The romanticism of revolution was tempered, even if only mildly, by respect for science. Delacroix, though, was only briefly enthused by the revolution of 1830. He was no political radical, and he soon became disillusioned. Indeed, many have seen in his famous painting a highly ambivalent attitude towards revolutionary violence. The figures closest to the viewer are corpses, and despite the title, it is not Liberty who leads the people, but a pistol-brandishing child. Karl Marx, by contrast, did not oppose revolutionary violence, though, like Delacroix, he sought to apply the experience of 1789 to a newly powerful socialist politics. In the later 1830s and 1840s, the German-born Marx was as obsessed with the legacy of 1789 as any French intellectual, and he even planned to write the revolution's history. And like Delacroix, Marx was updating the revolutionary tradition, declassicizing it, and placing workers at the forefront of the mise en scène. The failure of the Jacobins, he insisted, arose precisely from their excessive admiration for the classical city-state. Their nostalgia for ancient Sparta and Rome had led them to oppose the sans-culottes. The political equality they espoused, giving all men full citizenship, was no longer enough. In a modern society, true equality and harmony would be realized only with full economic equality, and without support from society, they had been forced to use violence.